How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I've rebuilt the concrete plant and the steel beams facility and unlocked that Karelian TUZ 303 thing. I just left a couple of little clips in as I was exploring a bit more of the map. There was a nice little rock climb that I got very close to getting screwed on. Some of the rocks are kind of like, you phase through them, and as I was driving past the very corner of the map, I saw this little black section, and I was like, hang on a minute. And yeah, for whatever reason, it's like completely void of colour or anything. It's a bit weird. It's in like the top left corner of the map, and yeah, now I'm like inside a giant rock. And then the last thing was just one reason I do like this vehicle, especially with this terrain and like these step cliffs going on. As it's got like wheels at all four corners and that, and it tends to, like, when you jump down, you always tend to do a roll if like the cliff is tall enough, but you generally roll back to your wheels. Works out pretty nicely. Saves that. You can see that I'm always jumping down near a tree, just so worst case if it does bite me.
Looking at you driving up to that town really gets me thinking you won't be staying here long at all, but something you build will remain, even if it's just the roads. That's a nice thing to leave behind, knowing it was yours.
If it's mine, I'd stick a toll on it. Yeah, that was just, as I was driving around, she popped up and said that, so I thought I'd just leave it in. That's what she said. Yeah, for restore the collapsed power line near the steel mill. There's a little look at the map. I kind of got all the edges done. Looks a lot nicer when the clouds are all squared off. Yeah, so I've got to basically go over to the steel mill and move a transformer and like a little box. I cut most of the trip out because even like yesterday's video was basically a drive to here. An AI route I did yesterday was. But yeah, behind me is a full-on transformer, like some I've had to move before, and yeah, this little box as well, which they don't, between them, don't really fit in the mule too well. Again, you could do other options. Some people have suggested this one you probably could get away with that, I reckon, the step pike with the flatbed. But the two, or like I say, like not the sideboard, the one with like the beaver tail thing that flops down and you can transport vehicles. I assume that's the one they mean, but you're going to have to bring a crane, so that's already 2 trips. Unless maybe you could get away with like hoisting these things onto the platform with the like winch you get at the back of the mule. And then yeah, you've only got to take them like over the road, pretty much. A little bit of a difficult road, I'll give it that, but nothing too crazy. Yeah, I ended up putting the transformer just in the back lengthways, so at least like it's not sticking out to the side too much, although in hindsight that might have helped for like reducing tipping a bit. And then yeah, just wore the box on my head, pinched it to my head with a crane. Standard issue, been doing that for a while in SnowRunner. I thought I'd tip sooner. That's one thing, like the mule, it definitely is tippable, and if you overload it and all the rest of it, but it's not a complete punish like some of the vehicles were on SnowRunner. Thankfully I had the goddamn professional nearby, so I kind of knew already like the loaf was right there, so I wasn't even worried about tipping particularly. I was more concerned like once it starts to tip, sort of floor it forward, use the word floor it loosely with the mule, but just even if you gain a few feet of ground whilst you're tipping, that'll do, because then I'll right it back with a loaf, and then yeah, that few feet of distance I gained is kind of behind me at that point, and then hopefully, as happened this time, when I right myself with a loaf, I'm kind of on more stable ground. A little bit of a slow trek. I thought I'd leave this one in since it's not very far to travel. And yeah, I appreciate someone said in the comments, because I said about not unlocking that Karelian, or whatever the hell it's called. I just feel like calling it Karelian now, even though I know that's not how you pronounce it. Yeah, like I had a little go in it yesterday, but it took the vehicle back off me. When you finish this mission, it gives it back to you again. Yeah, another tip here. I think twice as well, I flipped this back to its wheels with a loaf. I edited out one bit where it was like, I basically got back in the vehicle, drove like a foot forward, it tipped again, got back in the loaf, tipped it back to its wheels, and we're good to go. I think it was that bit there. Didn't take long to go from sunny to a sandstorm. But again, the sandstorm's not that intrusive. I can live with this. I really don't mind it either way. I still prefer the sun because it just makes the map brighter and nicer in general, but yeah, it's not annoying. I've got a funny feeling they reduced, well, this isn't the funny feeling, they reduced the rain in patch 2.0, but then they did like a hot fix micro patch type thing about 2 days later. I think they dialed the rain back up on that hot fix thing, maybe not to original specs, but I definitely think for that 2-day window, I was on Deluge, so it was definitely a map capable of pissing it down with rain. It felt like the rain didn't really happen that much at all, and then kind of as I was finishing Deluge, I just noticed, like, averaged out, there seems to be more rain than there was. So, yeah, I've got a feeling they've dropped it, and they might try and eke it back up slowly now. Because, again, there's certain surfaces behave differently whether it's raining or sunny, so they must have in their head that they really don't want to turn the rain off if they can help it. They seem to want the rain constantly, almost, because then it affects certain like situations and grip and all the rest of it, it seems. For that one, for whatever reason, you got to go into the menu and just press right on the D-pad, I think it was, to confirm. Yeah, there's the Karelian. It crashes into the bloody building as they're trying to show it to you. That's, yep, pretty typical. Must be an AI driver.
Oh, jeez. I think I jinxed it. Long story short,
Oh, jeez.
I want you to keep scratching
Definitely
their
sounds
backs
like
so they
Fargo.
can bring production back online. They only need a small favor, you know. Just a container of parts and resources they need to get going. Think you can deliver it? Pretty please?
Some new mission unlocked, but yeah, I'll be honest, at the time I wasn't even listening to what she was saying. Got this thing. This is like, it's hard to tell where I change it, but some of those circles were driving forward and steering, but it now is like you let go of the acceleration and just steering left or right makes it turn around like that. It's pretty sort of zippy, really. This is obviously the rusty version. For what it's worth, when I got this, it popped up in the bottom right, collect all rusty vehicles or whatever it is. This was the last one I needed. Would have been a nice thumbnail if one it was. Well, I still went for the thumbnail because it's the best option. If it was sunnier, would have been nicer. I'm on my way now to the concrete plant. I said yesterday you got to clear a load of objects, and I was thinking like I might try the dozer since there was so many objects. It seemed like, because otherwise the crane, I could take the big crane, stick it in one location, and hopefully reach loads of stuff. But really, like the crane, unlike Snow Runaway, you could sort of access the crane a little bit easier. In this, with the configuration and controller settings I've got to, you know, switch to the menu, hold down the button, and it's a pain in the arse. This felt more fluid, like I could actually, like, I'm shoving the pipe out of the way, then I can go and shove the cargo containers and the car, etc. I don't have to keep going in and out of a bloody menu and then driving like 4 foot forward, redeploying the crane and the crane legs. Yeah, overall, it's hard to say whether it's quicker, but I don't think it was that bad in the end. I've edited like big chunks out, just left a few of the main bits in. But yeah, it certainly felt more engaging anyway. You keep just jumping in and out of the crane menu. While I was yapping over that as well, on the way here, there's like various bits on this map. There's lots of big rocks and that are in the way of the road. This worked out quite nicely to just shove them out of the way while I was at it. So when I got that out, that got rid of the first square. There's like 3 main big yellow square, or rectangles I suppose, that you got to clear out. Yeah, even got a nice double on that one. Was able to push that. With these, I should have cleared the rest of the square, because it might have counted if I technically got all of these out the square. Like, even though then they might roll back in, it'd probably already like get rid of the yellow rectangle. I ended up kind of bouncing them over the top of my dozer. In the end, yeah, it was quite tricky at that point. Like, yeah, shit, how do I get them off? And yeah, kind of clipping the edge on a container or just something, anything. Clip it on the edge of a building if you need to. But yeah, that ended up working out like quite a nice way, just sort of loading 2 on at a time and moving them out of the way. Yeah, as you can see, those shoving the car and that other piece of metal. I've never. Oh no, have I? I think I might have actually cached some of these in. Or did I? I know. No, do you know what? I don't think I did. There was one of these in the concrete slabs facility on Sojourn that I filled in with sand, but I believe I just propped it near the entrance to the place and sort of left it at that. I might have cached the smaller bit in, but I think that big fat bit I've yeah, still got. I don't know if they're worth a lot of money. They're a lot of pain in the arse to move for the money. It's like there's some logs on Sojourn that are washed up on a boat. and they're like massive logs, and they're about 8 grand each. Not one was 8 grand, one was 12 grand or something, but they were a pain in the arse to move for the money. Yeah, doing the road, I set off the bowhead, which seemed to be tipping quite a lot. I'm not really sure why. It still laid a nice perfect line of sand. I think the AI just automatically makes it a perfect line of sand even if the vehicle itself is wobbling around and struggling a bit. Maybe it was because when I moved the rocks, again, there was a little bit of road to clear out the way on this. Maybe it was like the lines I left in the sand. The paver, first time it started doing circles, the second time it in theory worked, but it wasn't laying paving stuff. And again, that's another thing I think they've re-broke, because back nearer the beginning of the game, it used to be like, I don't know, 20-30% of the time you'd deploy that paver thing, but it wouldn't lay any paving. Then I pretty much had probably like a 95% success rate for a few weeks, and then I think, again, either since patch 2.0 or the hotfix, it seems to be happening quite a lot for me again. Like a good 50% of the time it doesn't pave, it just deploys the things and does nothing. So yeah, in the end I set the roller off behind me as an AI vehicle, and I already had this lined up on the road, jumped in this quickly, manually paved it, and then yeah, there's the roller following me behind. Dropped a good one. Nicked my bloody parking spot, the bastard. And then there's also an AI route you've got to do because of it. I actually built some sand going down there just to make life easier. I'm within the range of a quarry here, so it's pretty easy. Just keep refilling it and dumping stuff everywhere. I could also cut off to the left there. But yeah, I kind of figured I'll follow the actual road, since it just forced me to build a road. And then I cut through the concrete slabs facility that I just cleared out, all that stuff. Which, yeah, by the end of it, it was all quite nicely placed at the end. When I clear areas like that with cranes, I tend to just throw it to the side of the road, but if I can't reach further beyond my crane length to be able to like neaten it all up, it's just kind of a little bit scruffy. Ramming everything with the dozer, I was able to just pretty much ram it up against every wall and whatnot going. The first vehicle it sent was a mule, but the second two were the Azovs. However, I didn't have any issues, as long as you make sure you clear some of the rocks off the road. It's pretty clean sailing, they never moaned or anything like that, so yeah. It's another mission in the bag. I also built another road kind of going off down there again, because I had within the range of a well, you are within the range of a sand quarry, but it doesn't go much north of your garage really, if at all. It's cuts off about there. Another mission to do was collecting 2 parts and taking it to the concrete slabs facility, but there was also an AI route in it. I just figured I may as well set the AI route off now so they can flesh out any kind of bugs they're having or rocks they're hitting, bits they're getting stuck on, and then I'll go and deliver the bits, figure out where they've got stuck in the meantime. I cut ahead because it was the same route for some of it, but yeah, it's connected back up to like the main road. Set them off. This time, thankfully though, at least for this anyway, it was a Voron. The reason I say that is later on I saw a mule, and then later on after that I saw a is it the Minuteman, like the little American sort of Ford F-150-ish Scout. Yeah, I went and bought this. 39,400? That's pretty decent, I think. And yeah, this is obviously the new version, so it's a little bit peppier than the rusty version I got. No, I think it's pretty good. Flies along pretty nicely. I remember a little while ago someone said in the comments, I assume they meant this, they said bombing around in like a tracked Scout or something. Yeah, that's decent. A little bit of speed on the go. You can get used to this. Even along the sand, does very well on site. I'll show you a bit right near the end of the video. That's a good example. See, the Voron already got there. All I did was set the AI off and bought this. Also did a fat drift here. Smashed into them. He seemed to, I assume he must have got clipped on a rock there. I don't really know how, because the line actually wasn't really anywhere near it. And then yeah, they're such pussies when you touch them with a vehicle. Versus like, I don't know, when I tried to block the road the other day with the crane and the 2 cement trucks were ramming into me. They bloody wouldn't tap out for ages, and then you clip one on the side as you're driving past, and they're right moany bastards. Yeah, again, just cleared a few more rocks. It turns out like those Vorons did get past all this bit, but nonetheless, I just thought while I'm flying around in this thing anyway, got a bit keen though. I kind of beached myself momentarily on those rocks. Still hauls that big fat juicy rock. I think yeah, that's definitely juicy rock territory. Back from my SnowRunner rock measurement scale. And then, yeah, two kind of, I don't know, boiler looking things from that, I think it's calling it like a repair station or something, to the concrete facility. I also build a road from the road behind me down here. Well, I say build a road, I pour some sand and flatten it. It's close enough. It counts in this game. Yeah, just like where you can see there, the mule's getting its chin caught a bit. Imagine just turning up to a job like this, just casually being like, smashing fences down, scuff the truck up, damage the boiler thing. Yeah, throw both of these in. I ended up doing them sideways because then they strap and at least they're kind of on, versus I could have put one properly in the sideboard, but then I probably would have wore the other one like a hat. So one way or another, it's going to give me a high centre of gravity. And I'm basically going to go round there, loop round there, connect to my main road. I kind of figured probably with the centre of gravity I've got at the minute, not the greatest idea to cut back up there. I cut most of it out because it's a little bit slow, but this just, again, like, I like that there's still a bit of hope with the mule. It boated over there and it was not looking good, but it saved itself, whereas I'd say in the SnowRunner, once you got to that level of tippiness and that momentum as you're going over, it's pretty much in the bag that you're probably tipping.
I think we can call Operation Restore the Concrete Plant a success. My naming of operations, not so much. Anywho, it's all thanks to you as usual. I mean that. I've sent you some concrete bridge designs. I'm sure they'll be helpful. Of course,
Yeah.
we have a long road ahead bringing the rest of the region back to shape, but we're off to a good start.
So that bagged me the 20 slot concrete bridge thing, which is good. To be honest, I was kind of, just as I finished this mission, I thought I should have checked, because she popped up saying that just before I've actually delivered these. So then I was wondering, like, did I have access to the concrete bridge designs before I actually finished this mission? She could have said that, being like, oh, well, thanks for doing that, here's the concrete bridge, and I'll be like, not even finishing the mission. Could have drove them boilers off a cliff. But yeah, I knew now that I'd unlocked the 20 section concrete bridge thing. I knew what I wanted to check for no apparent reason, probably of no particular benefit. But as I was searching the map earlier, I was driving around this port, and yeah, I realised I could connect them two sections. I quickly measured it with a 10 slot wooden bridge, and I figured, like, it's not enough, but the 20 slot section will be. I probably won't build it, I just kind of placed it there to, I don't know, prove to myself that I could. Pretty happy with my progress. I only left this bit in. Look at it, like, why does my mule not drive like this bloody mule? He comes flying over Sander Blade, doesn't give a shit about it being smooth, clips me but just rallies straight over my dozer blade, and he carries on. I want a mule like that. With a crane and a sideboard though. Maybe the SAR, the search and rescue version of the mule drives like that, but still. Rubbing it in, having one driving that fast past me. Yeah, you can see a few. I built that road, kind of did a couple. There's that one I did to the oil station. Also built, well, you just saw it there where the mule overtook me. Kind of built a road all the way to the, yeah, repair shop. I think I moved the line in a sec so you can see a little bit clearer the ones I've done. Like I say, not paving at the minute. I'm not too fussed about that, as long as stuff can still drive across it. And there's one last little blast in this Karelian thing. I think I'm sticking with Karelian. I have to make it a nickname, worst case. Yeah, it's not rapid getting up to speed, but it's not terrible either. But once it's ticking along, I like it. This is a pretty respectful speed. Fast enough to get in a little bit of trouble. Skids around a bit. Yeah, pretty good. The turning, I do like it. It's very sensitive. Like, a little bit of turning goes a long way. It really does. That's why, like, I was able to drift into that Taiga thing earlier. Yeah, it's the road I just built. Some rocks I moved out of the way. Give you a tour of some rocks. Funny to speak, I was only because it was a rock band. I saw my mum earlier, and she was saying when she was a kid, talking about Ozzy Osbourne and that, and where she used to live. They used to drive past Black Sabbath for whatever reason. Like, I'd assume more than once, I mean. And they all used to go to the top of this hill and wait for a green Rolls Royce to come past. Apparently they're all like, yeah, Black Sabbath's in there. Yeah, pretty crazy that he's passed away. And Hulk Hogan. It's too much legend for 1 week. Too much legend for a year. Yeah, this sand, I know this bit of sand pretty well, because when I was exploring all the map, I drove up here and it linked. The links got up here fine, but certainly not as nippy as this is. This actually does seem like purpose built to nail through sand. At the bottom, kind of middle of the map, there's also some pretty deep sand dunes. Again, the Lynx was pretty slow going through there, but still not like it was ever going to get stuck, just pretty slow, whereas I reckon this thing will fly along, which is pretty good. I think they've nailed the vehicles pretty well. On Deluge, getting the Lynx was the perfect vehicle for that, and I think this is a perfect vehicle for this, really, with the sand dunes and all the rest of it. It always is in this game, like, when it comes to climbing and stuff like that, the trackedness of it dies off a little bit. I was trying to cut through this section. I was going to go and get a thumbnail. I got stuck here with the Lynx, but I eventually managed to escape. This one, for now, I was getting to the end of the night. I've had a bit of a banging headache all night, so apologies for the editing's a tad rough and all the rest of it, but yeah, it's basically like that corner mud flat. It does look like a bit of metal, actually, but whatever. They need to round them up a bit more. I don't want to be getting caught this easy. My tracks ain't gripping. Yeah, 16% so far though, so I don't think it will be particularly long until I've got this map complete. And there's I've got 9 vehicles left. That probably makes sense. I'm still on like 54 million something. It seems to have calmed down now, saying I've earned millions a day. But anyway, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf, and I'll be back soon.